Today we're talking about video games, my favorite subject. Sometimes we like to talk about little concepts, reasons games are cool and stuff like that. Other times I like to just recommend random games to you, so I'm doing that today. We got 15 games, all different types, games that feel different, games that hit different, all just unique, good games. Let's get started off with number 15. Of course, I'm putting the original BioShock, maybe even BioShock Infinite on this list. I try not to repeat myself often, but if you're tuning into this channel, yeah, I'm probably going to bring up BioShock from time to time. I'm sorry, I'm just realizing that now. I have no regrets. Stub me in the comments all you want. But I actually like recommending this game to people who maybe didn't grow up in the era when these first games came out, because when you really think about it, at this point, these games are pretty old. And yes, there are gems of first-person shooters from years before BioShock, but there's just something about that game that feels very modern, very still playable, but also just a little bit different in the way that it does things, the way that it tells a story, the way that it references things like Ayn Rand, the Industrial Revolution, all types of things. It's just a cerebral game with a bit of mystery, some absolutely incredible voice work and world building that is good from beginning to end, and of course, a fun sci-fi twist. Next, over at number 14, I have to recommend Ori and the Blind Forest. This is a game that just makes you feel things. Sorry, it's gonna sound corny as hell, my stuff usually does. If not this one, also there's another game, a sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's equally as beautiful, but the first one, Ori and the Blind Forest, still to this day is an all-time banger. It's a side-scrolling exploration game, or a Metroidvania if you want to get fancy. And yes, there are a bunch of options, there are a bunch of great ones, especially newer ones, but I still think Ori and the Blind Forest just has to be seen to be believed. The graphics are beautiful, and that also transfers to the movement, the feel of everything. This game is just so buttery smooth that it's impossible to find anything wrong about it. It just presents a beautiful world to explore, really fun mechanics and combat encounters, and yes, a story and world that can really resonate with you, especially if you're the sucker falling for a game that can make you feel something. But Ori is just one of those games that everybody should try, even if you're not into 2D side-scrolling games. It's just that good. Next, over at number 13, we have Dredge. I hate to use the buzzwords ambient horror or whatever, but yeah, Dredge is kind of that. This is, on its surface, a very simple little game about being a fisherman, riding around in your little boat, upgrading your boat, trying to catch crazy fish, and further upgrading your equipment to catch bigger, crazier fish. And there is a little bit of a push-pull to the tension because when nighttime falls and you're out in the open water, things are a little bit spooky. You spend your time essentially on islands, interacting with characters and people in town and working on your boat, and then you go out. You go out in the open water, you fish, you dodge weird things at night, and you come back and try to sell your wares and upgrade your equipment even more. It's deceptively simple, but it was also incredibly addictive to us. It was one of our favorite surprise games in recent memory. 2023 was pretty stacked with great games, but a little simple game like Dredge really stuck with us, not just because of the fishing, but also just because of the little bit of mystery and ominousness behind it all. It's cool. If you like Cthulhu stuff, if you like Lovecraft stuff, if you like open water, a very weird combination, but if that all kind of strikes a fancy for you, try Dredge. Now at number 12, we have Hollow Knight, and look, I'm talking to anybody who, every single person out there that's played Hollow Knight is obsessed with it, lives and dies by it, swears it is the greatest game of all time, and people are out there that still haven't played it, so here we are. I'm probably going to change your life. If you didn't like Ori and the Blind Forest like I just mentioned a couple of numbers ago, and you want something a little more visceral, a little more intense, a little more soul-crushing, and a little more hardcore, then it's Hollow Knight. One of the best open-world exploration, Metroidvania, whatever you want to call it, games of all time. This game is stylized, it's got cool bug stuff, a really interesting world. The way it presents its story and world building is very unconventional, the combat is intense. So many badass bosses, the music will stick with you for the rest of your life, as will the little character sounds. People have been waiting years for a sequel, but the original one is still one worth diving into, diving deep, exploring each and every corner. Some of the secrets and things you'll find along the way, man, they just don't make games like this too often. I also, at number 11, have to bring up a classic, just a classic time waster, Plants vs. Zombies. This game has been ported anywhere and everywhere. It's up on Steam on PC, but it's been on mobile and everything in between. This is an old school staple, but a great and unique take on a tower defense game. with a lot more strategy than you might expect for something that is like a goofy little jokey game about plants fighting zombies. Through hours and hours of playing, you really learn how to micromanage, how to really handle your resources and do things to step up to the challenge of what the game gives you. It's one of those games where it gets increasingly more insane as it goes. You think you're doing good, you're maxed out on resources, you've blown away all the zombies, only for some new monstrosity to appear on the right side of the screen, marching slowly towards your house. It's just a blast. It's great to look at, it overcomes language barriers, it overcomes age. This game is for kids, this game is for grown adults, this game is for old men and women. Doesn't matter, anybody can play this game and have a good time. Now at number 10, we have Return of the Obra Dinn. This is from the creator of Papers, Please and is a very unconventional game. Also, kind of a really hard game to describe. It's really hard to sell people on this one, but if you're a fan of like the mystery of the missing frog detective or any of that type of stuff, I think you'd be into this one. This is essentially a game where you are trying to figure out what went down on a ship on this boat. You go in, it's a first-person perspective, and you essentially walk around and look for clues, piece things together. We're really oversimplifying it. It's a good, hearty mystery of a game, and on its own would be good if it was totally normal, but the thing that really compounds on top of that is the art style, the music. It all feels like such a throwback in such a unique and good way. Like they need to make more games that look like this. It just makes Return of the Obra Dinn not only an interesting game and a game you probably won't finish in one sitting, you're gonna need multiple sittings to figure this one out. It's also just really fun to look at from beginning to end. The big thing is, I think this game just keeps you on your toes. You never quite know what's gonna happen. At number 9, come on guys, like I know I've recommended this game so much on this channel, and trust me, I'm self-aware, like trust me, I notice. But if for some reason you've just completely missed it, we gotta go back to the PS3, Xbox 360 generation for Batman, Arkham Asylum. This is also out on PC and everything and has been re-released. And then along with this, its sequels Batman, Arkham City, and Batman, Arkham Knight, which is available on current gen consoles and stuff. But the hookup is pretty good here. The first was a game about Batman in the asylum on Arkham Island, Joker has taken over, he's free, and an adventure pursues. It's an action-adventure game with really good controls, good movement. It's Batman being Batman in all the right ways. It takes a lot of what makes good Batman comic books fun, things like villains, an island where all of his worst enemies are on, like it's got that classic Batman stuff. I think this is good for older Batman fans, for comic book readers, for people who like the movies, or just people who like a solid adventure game. I just think everybody playing this game should have a great time. You gotta at least have some vague interest into Batman, but honestly, that's probably not even necessary. Next, over number 8, we have Cuphead, a game I've also brought up far too many times on this channel, but are you ready to sweat? Are you ready to get mad? Are you ready to throw a controller across the room and then let it bounce and hit your foot and injure yourself? Because Cuphead is going to make you do that. This is incredibly challenging. It is not for the faint of heart, but damn it, if it is not one of the most beautiful games I've ever played by emulating super old school animation styles, cartoons, and clashing that with run and gun action, harkening back to older games like Contra and Gunstar Heroes. This is just such a delicious cake you're eating with everything. It looks beautiful, it has crazy, incredibly memorable boss designs, and some of the boss fights and the challenge of them will stick with you until the end of time. Of course, with how popular the game is, Cuphead and Mugman, the characters are pretty popular. There's a cartoon, they have their own merch and stuff, but I still just want everybody in on this crazy, challenging, psychedelic world because this game is awesome, and it even gets better with the absolutely excellent DLC.
It might take you an hour to get over that tree. A lot of people never got past it.
Now, over at number 7, we're going to subject you to some punishment. You should probably play Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, that weird little game where you play as some weird, half-naked, bald guy in a pot, swinging himself with a hammer or like a big mallet or something, and trying to climb obstacles. This is essentially just a crazy climbing game that is intentionally designed to drive you crazy. And with that, it is pretty damn addictive. It's also been pretty played out at this point. The whole Getting Over It meme, YouTube videos, streamers being frustrated over losing, all the clones, whether it's a weird generic PlayStation game, a weird PlayStation Store game, a weird fake Fortnite map, have been there, done that. But nothing can beat the original game, which can run on pretty much any PC or Mac at this point and really is going to try your patience. My favorite thing about this game is what happens when you lose, when you fall. Just the voice talking to you sometimes. And I know it probably just sounds like the pretentious ramblings of like, why is this philosopher talking to me in my video games? But if you let it happen, if you listen to what he is saying, some of what he says when you fall actually really does help. It helps keep you going and to try and get further in the game. Now at number 6, we have Nine Souls. This is a 2024 indie game that we did not see a lot of people talking about. Obviously, there were a lot of games, so some stuff slipped through the cracks, but Nine Souls deserves a spot on this list for just being good. So this is yet another 2D exploration type Metroidvania style game, but this one really rides by art direction, by aesthetic. It has a beautiful graphic design. It does a really interesting thing where it blends sci-fi but with ancient Chinese themes, names, art, like different types of things. It's a strange game, but on top of it all, it also just has really great satisfying combat. It looks like one of these exploration type games, but also fight like you're playing something like Sekiro. It has a really satisfying parry system, and you need to be good at it if you want to withstand some of the absolutely incredible boss fights throughout this game. The story is good too. You've never really played anything else like it, but it's the journey of exploration throughout these strange worlds to just the satisfying white-knuckle hard combat. There's a lot of excitement here, and if you've overlooked this one, man, I really think you're missing out. Now at number 5, if you've played all the games on this list that I've mentioned, if you have heard me recommend all of them time and time again to every single person, well, I got a wild card for you. If you're just looking to chill, looking to relax for a low-stakes game, check out Slime Rancher. I was not expecting to go into this game and enjoy it, but I don't know, something hooked me. This is essentially a game where, yes, you're ranching slimes, think of it like you're ranching animals. You're mixing slime attributes. So yeah, that part's like Pokemon, but you are wrangling and containing and further expanding your ranch essentially in the slime world. There are bad slimes, good slimes, ones that love you, ones that hate you, all sorts of things, but it just makes for an easy, fun, addictive feedback loop that has you playing and perfecting everything constantly. If you like making perfect colonies in a RimWorld colony type game and you like Pokemon, and maybe you're fond of other cozy simulation games like Stardew Valley, you should probably check out Slime Rancher because there is a lot of elements here. This is a first-person shooter, you know, there's a vacuum, it feels very gratifying to sweep up slimes, spitting them out and wrangling things. It just makes for a really addictive gameplay loop that if you don't watch out, will suck your life away.
Science is awesome.
Now next at number 4, I have Sunset Overdrive. This is what happens when a good development studio just gets to have a little fun and do whatever the heck they want. Sunset Overdrive is a third-person action-adventure shooter open-world type game that really, at first glance, might look like your average basic open-world game, but it's really not. Insomniac Games, the developers, mixed a lot of the elements you've seen from their Ratchet and Clank games, like crazy, weird, fun-to-use weapon design with Sunset's incredibly satisfying open-world traversal system. I'm gonna compare it first and foremost to something like Jet Set Radio, crazy spraying graffiti, bouncing around a world. It's like a third-person game. His feet barely ever touch the floor because you are mixing sprinting, sliding, grinding on things, swinging from things, jumping on things to just dopamine explosion, just constant action. A lot of people think this is one of the most satisfying movement systems in a video game, and I have to agree. This game is just a blast, and people are still hoping and praying for a sequel, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. But in the meantime, Sunset Overdrive is an all-timer. It's so much fun. It's released on Xbox One and PC. There have been rumors of it going to PlayStation because now Insomniac Games is now working on PlayStation. Amongst other legal things, we don't need to get into it, but I hope more people get to play this one. I hope it goes on sale. I hope it gets re-released someday because seriously, it's just a good-ass game. Now next, at number 3, we have Superhot. Superhot is the most innovative shooter I've played in years, and that's what you're gonna hear a lot, because that's a joke that got run into the ground after the original demo for the game. But this is an incredible first-person shooter. What it does is essentially make time stop when you stop. So if you stand still, all the enemies and incoming bullets move incredibly slow. Every time you move, things speed up. So essentially, it's like a weird mix between an old-school shooter-type game and like Max Payne bullet time on steroids. But also maybe a little bit like the movie Equilibrium, just crazy, badass, slow-mo sequences with crazy action. All while looking like a super stylized game with the all-white walls and total computer, hacker aesthetic, and the red enemies. You just blast your way through this game in satisfying fashion over and over again, all while making it seem like it's not really about what you think it is. There's a little bit more here. I mean, we don't need to get into it, but if I say it's like The Matrix, maybe you know what I'm talking about. It's just really, really damn cool, man. And it's simple. It knows what it is. Now at number 2, we have God of War. Now I'm choosing 2018's God of War, the most recent one available on PC, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. There's also a sequel, God of War Ragnarok, but I'm putting the 2018 one here just because I really think this could work for a wide audience. It's an action-adventure game with addictive combat. It's got a really cool aesthetic as you go through all these weird Norse mythological science fantasy type of locations, and you play as Kratos, beating the hell out of everything you come across. Now, God of War fans that were around back on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, this is going to be a weird one, but trust me, like it still is just so much fun. You get the satisfaction of throwing this magical axe that comes back like Thor's hammer. You punch, you kick, you destroy, and everything in this game looks and feels badass, big, and over the top, and the music swells. It is absolutely bombastic. But it also, at the end of the day, just makes for a solid-ass video game. From beginning to end, you're gonna have a great time whether you're an action game fan or not. It doesn't matter. There's something here for everyone. And finally, at number 1, I have to recommend Hades. I mean, there are so many good indie games. We've already talked about a couple, but Hades is also one that really started with the indie push, but now in hindsight, years later, it does feel like a big budget game. It feels like just as good as some of the best out there. Hades is a roguelite action game that has incredible, satisfying action. If you played games like Bastion or Transistor or anything like that, it is from the same developers and it keeps a lot of that same great talent, but mix that with roguelite elements. So this is a game where you're reincarnated, you're playing, you're going on runs, you're changing stats, and you die, you go back and try and do it all again. That's the gameplay loop, and it's so satisfying because every run can feel different because you don't know how it's gonna go, leveling up different weapons, adding different attributes to the weapons. It's just a blast. Now, on top of that though, they also tell a pretty interesting story built upon these runs. Every time you go back, the story kind of moves a little bit, you interact with a different character. The voice acting here is all top-notch, the music is incredible, the art design is beautiful. I mean, what more can I say? This is like the perfect game. It runs really good on the Nintendo Switch, but also, if you just need a time waster, you could play it on a bunch of different devices. Once you get the hook of it, once you wrap your head around the systems, it's really simple to pick up and play and master, and it's good for like 10-minute bursts or 3-hour play sessions. It doesn't matter. Hades is great. No one should die before playing this video game. I'm telling you right now.